Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or whatever you choose to be identified by. This is Nick with another wonderful episode of the Schnozzcast. I will be hosting in Bob's absence tonight. He's off fraternizing with some of his brethren, and at least he's not sick this time. Tonight we're going to get into a couple things, but we're going to leave you on the edge of your seats and shoot from the hip. Because that's the way we do things when Bob Rankin's not here. So why don't we get into this episode by introducing our co-hosts. Mr. Todd Dillon, how are you, sir?
I am doing just fine, sir.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to be seen.
Mr. Selesky, I notice your background's changed a little bit.
Yeah, I upgraded the basement a little. So rather than having the Big Lebowski and all that behind me, it's going to look like this now. You
put in some drywall?
Yeah, a window.
That's wonderful.
Got some LEDs going on. It's, no, I'm actually remote at home. Like, I pulled a Todd for today.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, you know.
Looks like you got two anal glowing devices back there.
Oh, I thought my head was going to be in front of those. Well, too late now that we started. Cat's out of the bag.
Daniel and I are charging those for later, Todd.
When they glow like that, that means they're fully charged.
Honey, can we mess around with the lights off again?
I'm going to have to step away for a second here, guys, and grab one of those mini lightsabers real quick.
They're really bright. Right around the sphincter, it gets really, really bright. The rest of it, you can't really see, but
it gets warmer towards the top, I imagine.
I tell her to say,
or the bottom.
I can see the light out of her mouth.
A lot of things light up when they put those in.
Even their wieners.
And Nick, what were our names again?
It doesn't matter. Yes.
They're on their...
Names for people that don't know us. I'm Nick. I'm a co-host. We got Cory, who's also a co-host, and Todd. Just so you guys know, just so you know that I'm not fucking retarded. Bob is out of town. I no longer have an iPad. Cory dropped this shit off. We're not going to say how many times it took him to come to my house to remember every little thing that he fucking needed, even though he was told 10 times. We'll leave that fucking sitting on the back burner.
Maybe he just likes coming to see you.
But I've used Switcher before, which is the program that we use on this iPad. I'm pretty savvy with it. Used it probably about 7 times. Pretty comfortable. Last night, he drops this off, and there was an update. And it's completely different. And I'm supposed to know how to fucking use this and where everything goes and host at the same time. We've asked Cory in the past, hey, we should all switch turns. We should take turns hosting. Not interested. So there's no way that you have anything to say, buddy, if I'm hosting and running this fucking show by myself. Nothing.
You told me last night you were more than good with it.
Yeah, and then you start special requests. You want this, and there's different subsections, and we're fucking doing whip pans and everything. I can't.
Grandpa?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
You just turned into a grumpy grandpa.
I am a grumpy grandfather.
I have that newfangled software updates, and I don't know how to get the picture in the picture.
Don't you worry, guys. Don't you worry, because we are going to take turns doing this where each one of us runs everything. And then I'm going to sit back and laugh.
I think I already did it.
No, you didn't.
I was going to say, I know Todd and I can do it.
Yeah.
Oh, get out of here. Okay. Anyhow.
Oh, hang on. Sorry. Before we continue on.
Yeah.
So Bob's gone. He's up at his old alma mater in Elma.
Yeah. Todd, why don't you tell us what's going on with that?
You know, probably a bunch of dudes laying around, hugging on each other, drinking beer, doing things that I wouldn't do. That's why I'm not there.
So Todd, let me ask you this.
Yes.
So since he does this consistently every year, he goes up there with a couple of your guys' frat brothers that are still in the area.
He does.
How oddly do you think they get looked at being
100 years old?
50-plus-year-old men still going to frat parties at Elma.
So the funny thing is there's a bunch of 70-year-old dudes in there as well. That's why I'm not there. It is not the coolest party in town.
There's seriously guys older than Bob?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And they'll be fighting, throwing up,
So is this like a is this like a Rotary Club meeting that they're going to?
Kiwanis Club.
Yeah. Moose Lodge.
Just a bunch of guys and girls getting to relive their college days, no matter how old they are.
So do they actually go like back to the fraternity house, or are they like meeting at like the fucking cafeteria at the Ramada?
It depends. It depends on what year. I don't know if the house is burned down or not yet this time. It's been burned down a couple times since I was there.
I mean, if you've been a member, do they just, no matter if you're 58, if they're like, yeah, come on in?
So it's supposed to work that way, and that's part of the reason I don't ever go back is, again, I'm a famous frauder. I mean, people know who I am, and so I think the last time I went, it didn't feel like the entourage was appreciated, so I packed up my things and decided not to go back.
Yeah, they know who you are. You're that. You're who's that weird guy at the door.
Okay,
hold on.
I'm the guy who put that place on the map.
Hang on, Todd. So you're saying you actually did not feel welcome the last time you went?
I didn't, and I built that place.
Huh. So clearly Bob has not had that same situation occur.
Or he's just used to being shunned.
Shunt.
Wow. Okay. All right. I don't know. Like I said, I find it very, very funny. I mean, don't get me wrong. Good for him. It's tradition. I'm all about traditions. But yeah, I always just kind of chuckle a little bit, being like, man, his old ass going up to Alma, hanging out with all these young college kids.
I just thought of a new tradition, Corey. I'll start mailing you a sock filled with dog shit every year on your birthday. That'll be a tradition.
Yeah, you're right. It would be.
Hold on. In the words,
did I tell you Danielle and I moved?
In the words of Cory. Yeah, what's something that they share in common between going up to Alma and fucking partying every fucking year when you're an old man and getting shipped a sock full of dog shit? Those are two fucking traditions I don't fucking care about.
I would gladly take my sock full of dog shit every year. Be like, oh, I guess it's my birthday.
Exactly. I hope he froze it this year.
I knew I forgot what day it was.
If you guys are just tuning in to the Schnozzcast, you can be sure to tune in to us every week. We release episodes typically sometime in the morning around 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on all different.
Get around to it.
Yeah, between 10 a.m. and whenever we feel like it on Fridays at the end of each week from the previous week's episode. Brand new episodes showing up on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, and Audible. All at Schnozzcast. You can follow our social media pages, also all at Schnozzcast, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at Schnozzcast. And don't forget to email us your existential questions, comments, grapes, or bitches to schnozzcast@gmail.com, or you can text us or call us live while we're doing the show, which typically happens on Friday or Saturday night at 618-SHOCKER, SHOCKER. 618.
I was going to say shocker.
Well, I couldn't remember. I'm like, when I got the number, I'm like, shit, did I put a C in there? I'm used to you know how many times I write Schnozzcast with a fucking C every fucking time I do the artwork? So yeah, you can get a hold of us at 618 SHOCKER.
Shocker.
The shocker
like
line.
Schedule.
Like schedule. Guys, grab a shot. If this is the first time you're listening to us, we do shots on the show.
But I don't know why.
Yeah. I need them tonight. Tonight, I am drinking something new. Bob's not here, so I did not have to consult him. Not that he would be opposed to this. But him and I typically go in on a bottle of something. Cory brings something that is usually disgusting, and then we all just end up drinking what we brought. So tonight I am doing Big House Hard Apple Whiskey. It's I think it's a Canadian whiskey with different, I guess, flavors of Granny Smith apple. It's pretty fucking good though.
As good as The original apple Canadian whiskey by
I was
Crown
gonna say,
Royal.
here we go.
Well, we all don't have Crown Royal money. Just saying. But yeah, it was a little bit more expensive than Fireball, not as expensive as Crown, so pretty decent. Drinking Blue Light as usual. Todd, what are you having tonight?
I'm having a little Crown Apple for my shot. And for my beer, I'm drinking Fort George's Magnetic Fields Hazy IPA again. And it is mag-freaking-nificent.
Four Georgies.
Fort George.
All right.
Todd, what did you think about that picture that Nick sent us with that cider the other day? Did you see that one?
I don't remember. I'm sure I did.
Nick, what was the name of that one?
The one that I sent to all you guys?
Yeah. Hang on, I think I got it here real quick too. There we go. Sticky Mac.
Sticky Mac.
Yeah.
I would very much like to try that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. So it's
I would very much like to try that.
You know, it's local, Cory.
Is it?
Yeah.
To what brewery?
Meckley's Cidery and Fruit Farm. I looked it up. It's somewhere. It's local. I don't know if it's like 2 hours away local or what, but it is around here. And they have some pretty fucking crazy shit that they've been releasing. They had some kind of hard cider ice cream slushy thing that looked fucking phenomenal. And they had this, and then they have a whole bunch of different other kinds, but 6.9% ABV, which is fucking crazy. What are you doing a shot of, Core?
I stopped and grabbed a little baby boy of Fireball.
The teeniest of the tiniest. Cheers, boys.
Salute.
Cheers.
Nastarovia. So
Sweet sassy molassie.
Ooh.
Todd.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna switch on over to you for a second.
Yeah.
You,
what are we doing? What are we doing?
Have any kind of grievances?
Oh.
Nick, you've known Todd for how long now?
Oh.
When does Todd Dillon not have a grievance?
Do I have
his grievance is you saying, does he have a grievance? Sorry, Todd. Go ahead.
No worries. Do I have grievances? So
and now we come to the airing of grievances. And another thing.
Yes. So today's grievance is this. Please, please, please. I know that you're tired, but when you're tired, don't bring your kids to the grocery store and let them run amok and get in the way and push carts in the way. Some of us have places to be. I appreciate that being a mom is tough, but wrangle your damn kids. I am not the guy who wants to be dodging your kid, throwing shit on the floor, moving my cart, having fun, and you ignoring, pretending like you don't see it. Watch your damn kids. Please. Please, please, please.
So what
was that sound? Who's playing it? Where's the television show going? It sounds like me.
Nick was trying to add a laugh track in the background, apparently.
Seriously.
No, I was in the grocery store, and this little kid, freaking.
What'd you really want to say, Todd?
This little motherfucker.
There you go.
There you go, buddy.
I'm like, I smile. I'm like, little kid. I smile. I try to make nice, and then he's like, oh, you've engaged me. And so then he starts freaking moving my cart around, throwing shit on the floor, and I'm like, and I'm like, look at his mom. And I like stop, and I'm like, waiting. Are you gonna say something? And then she kind of looks up, like, do you need to get by? And I'm like, yes, please. And then I see her in the next aisle, and her kid begins the game anew on the other side, and she's like totally oblivious to this. Please, I didn't sign up for this. I'm just trying to get a little bit of flour, a little bit of olive oil, and get my ass home. I'm not looking for any trouble.
What
You didn't need any sugar?
What exactly were you making? Play-Doh?
Yeah, exactly. I told you I did some old school pan-fried pork chops.
Oh, that's right. Didn't you say you were making them for your dogs?
No, I've sous vide'd them for the dogs.
Todd, when your dogs are eating better than me, that's very upsetting.
I think we
must have lost
I'm
Todd.
like, well, my dogs have very discerning tastes.
Here, yeah, so do I. Here, so I'm gonna send you my meals, and then you send me your dog's meals.
It's funny, they turn their nose up to that fresh bet bullshit. They're like, this is fucking dog food.
And Todd, I can definitely back you on that, because Danielle had started wanting to make the dogs food rather than buy store-bought dog food. And so now, if there's ever a night where we didn't have any left, or they only get a little bit, and then we'll give them some regular dog food with it, they look at her like, what are you doing? Like, we don't eat this shit anymore.
Exactly. Well, Bo today did the same thing. He did the same thing, Corey. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm like, a peanut butter ice cream treat that he's eaten for forever. And Mary started making the homemade ones with like yogurt. So now he's like, I'm like, oh, it's hot. It's a warm day here. Here's this peanut butter ice cream treat. He's like, fuck this dog treat.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy how used they get to it. And they know, and they will definitely turn their noses up at actual dog food now. And so for the longest time too, so Rue will still eat anything, but Remy will get very picky about even his treats. So for the longest time, he was getting like the chewy, like kind of fancy treats. And I poured out a big box of the big milk bones that we had from this Christmas into their treat bowl. And I tried to give him one the other day, and he just turns his nose up at it. Like, that's not the good stuff. And Danielle does the same thing. She tries to give him one. He's like, no, thank you. I want the other ones.
Yeah, the only store-bought biscuit that Bo and Max will eat consistently is Kirkland's, because Mary bought these cheesy bacon, and these things are marketed towards humans. I'm like, ooh, cheese and bacon. We got to get them a bag of those, and they're baked. It's baked on. It's good stuff. And so I'm like, freaking Bo leaves it in like 8 million pieces. I think he consumed like a third of it. The rest of it was all in crumbs all over the carpet. He's like totally spoiled. Totally spoiled.
I don't know if within the same sentence of you talking about, Corey, about you talking about your dog turning his nose up at certain treats and then saying Danielle does the same thing, if that's necessarily the best verbiage.
Oh, well, I mean, she turns her nose up at a lot too, so.
The dogs are divas.
Danielle does not she won't even sniff her treats that I buy her. Throw them right on the carpet.
They're all divas. She's over on the couch right now and can't hear me, so.
Well, I saw someone's tail go next to your shoulder, so.
Yeah, so when
I didn't know if that was her pony or if that was one of the dogs.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, it's Hey, Danielle.
She's waving. Hey,
Danielle. What is she doing with her head? Going back? Oh,
yeah. You don't want to know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. And then
that ponytail's going faster.
Danielle, seriously, it's enough. It's not all about you, sweetheart.
And I have another minor nit grievance, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
So, and this is, I think I've touched on this a little bit before, and this is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm a primetime TV viewer. I'm not, every now and again, I don't just stream things, and so I watch regular television, and I brought this up before. My grievance today is just lazy kind of drama writing. It is, and again, I know I'm supposed to suspend a bit of disbelief, but when you're watching Law and Order, there is no way in hell that a chunky lady police officer, and nothing, again, I know that women are able, but no way does she catch a dude with a 40-yard head start who's an athlete and tackle him like a mile away from where the race started. I'm sick of it. Make it more realistic. Make it like and besides, you ever notice, and why is every criminal like in the greatest shape ever? They're able to run for blocks at the same freaking speed. Come on.
That's part of the job description. They're career criminals, man. They're used to running. And dude, listen. If every now and then Bill has to drive Sharon around the block and put her 100 feet away and say, "All right, go ahead, sweetheart, come around the corner." and tackle him.
I'm like, because I'm
That's
not
good
trying to be
TV,
a
Todd.
chauvinist. I'm not trying to be a chauvinist, and I know that there are women who can run down men all day. But in this show, when I see, again, it's just so unreal. I'm like, so if they were like 10 feet away, I'm like, okay, she's in shape. She's been training for this. The adrenaline, she can catch dude. I get it. But she's not going to chase dude down over 2 blocks, gaining, and staying in front of the other dude police officer who's also in shape.
She's quick, man. She's quick.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, I can't suspend disbelief. And I know, like I said, I know it's a cheap shot grievance, and it's going to seem like I'm being sexist, and I'm not. Again, just make it closer to, it's Law and Order, damn it. Not Superman.
I was gonna say, so you didn't like the scene in Men in Black then when Will Smith ran down that alien and he flipped over the
40s. But again, there's aliens and the aliens that smoke, and then they got Biz Markie doing now I know that my expansion of disbelief has to be bigger. For that, I guess it's similar. Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise is the king of chase scenes that last for 45 minutes. And I'm like, and he doesn't slow down, and he's still able to climb the 100-foot rope up to the helicopter in the wind after he's been for 45 minutes. I get it. That's that type of show. But in Law and Order, where it's supposed to be kind of mimicking today's events, come on,
Cory.
I mean, I've seen Mariska Hargitay run down a guy or two, so I don't know what you're talking about, Todd.
Cory, I don't know about you, but we've been doing a podcast for several years where our token black friend has been on it with us. Why is this the first time we've heard him beatbox to us on the show? And why was it so short? That's all I want to fucking know.
Because Nick, all it took was that key of Men in Black. And that opened up Todd's beatboxing. It was almost too easy. So we'll just have to remember for future episodes. We'll just have to pepper in Men in Black references, and hopefully we'll get a Biz Markie out of Todd.
I hope you guys edit that out, please.
Oh no, dude,
it's coming out in post.
If anything, that's gonna be the title of the episode somehow. I don't know how Bob can break that down into letters, but I think he should try.
I mean, I know I can order anything I want, but I'm in Idaho. I want a potato. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
No, I can't wait now. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, did you guys the other night on TBS, Men in Black was on.
And he'll go back into it.
I almost guarantee it.
It wasn't long enough. It really wasn't. And we have to do something to be able to spark that fire inside of him, that fire in his belly to come back out again. That true darkness.
Or wait,
come back out.
Maybe was it the Will Smith reference and the Men in Black reference?
I see how Cory's trying to tickle the combination.
Cory. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, easy, girl.
It's a double keyed vault. Yeah. You can't just have one; you have to have the other.
Exactly.
We're trying to catch this. We're trying to get this little squirrel to eat from our hands. We don't want to make any big movements. Seriously. But in light of the fact that our good friend is not with us, let's go back to this little clip in a second here. I literally just pressed the button that I'm supposed to press, and everything went fucking haywire. But here,
you should do a very quick. Just have him send you like audio clip of a similar review, and then you watch the same thing, and then you shit all over it at the end.
What are you doing?
What? Oh, I'm peeling.
Oh.
I've just been sitting here like absent-mindedly doing this.
Here, you want my skin flakes?
I can see it. Yeah,
he's scratching his arm on the black tablecloth, and there's dusted Parmesan. It looks like someone dumped all. Oh,
sorry.
Good. Don't worry, it's on my floor now.
It's on the floor now.
Yeah. So
well, you vacuum the floor. You don't vacuum the table.
Sure. Yeah. I will now.
I didn't even realize I was just like, yeah. Oh,
that is
shitty Ozark.
Disgusting.
Got it. And this is for the last time I was out on the water with you guys.
Oh, you're so fucked when we go up north.
Dude,
Oh, I totally. No, this is my base.
Do you have SPF like 1,000
I do.
that's coming with
do you
us?
have
Okay.
psoriasis medication?
1,000. It's peeling skin. I'm so sorry.
So, in light of our good friend Bob, we just thought we'd go back in time a little bit and let you hear whatever the hell episode that was. I don't have time to look it up. But you can listen to it. If you go back and go through all our episodes, you can find it.
He's
old
very
skin
gross.
flakes.
I know, it's gross.
It was very fucking disgusting. That was episode 129, Little Grandfather. If you want to go back and listen to it, all up on anywhere you get a podcast for the Schnozzcast. Good old Bob.
Good old Bob Beep.
All right, moving right along. So we're gonna go into a little.
Existential question of the week.
Love that. Love that.
Cory, where did you go?
I'm
Clarifying
here.
question.
Cory completely disappeared during my song.
I turned my camera off real quick.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, clarifying question, Todd. Go ahead.
Yeah, did you notice that one of those anal injectors dimmed a little bit?
I noticed everything dimmed.
It's got a little stain on it.
I think he's like, oh, he's doing that song and he's putting up his title screen, Danielle. Now's your chance.
Grab the probe.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so this installment of Nick's existential question of the week is, if you could dance any dance perfectly, which dance would you choose and why? And I thought this might be interesting because I don't know, but I don't feel that anybody on the podcast is someone that I would write home about for dancing.
You're
What?
about to be disagreed. Yep, exactly. You're about to
What?
be disagreed with.
You clearly don't know people on this podcast.
Todd, please prove me wrong. I would like to see some videos, but perhaps in your prime. And
In my prime.
Again, you're about to be disagreed with.
the fucking stanky leg does not count. Your wedding dances don't count either. So you tell me. First, now I want to hear what dances you do. That's what I want to hear.
All of them. I used to do mashed potato.
It started a long
Todd
time
was-
ago.
I could do the boogaloo.
Todd was doing the Charleston when it came out.
Shoot. I got mad dancing skills. I don't need that. This is a weird. I think I have several clarifying questions. What if you do them all well?
Well, we would need proof to show on the show.
Okay. So perfectly though. Perfectly.
Yeah, no, but we're even remotely good. We're gonna need some proof. And Bob saying that, you used to be a star football player that could kind of dance like 45 years ago does not count. We're gonna need something. We're gonna need something current. We're gonna need currently able to dance.
I can currently dance. I can currently do every move I've ever done. And
Every move
I should
you've
open a
ever
school. Me and Vern Funk should both open dancing schools. I'm good.
The guy from
Clarify.
the Ernest movies.
Him too.
Yeah, I was going to clarifying question. Who's Vern Funk?
Oh, he was the one that started the nitty gritty and the hoopsie scoopsie and the elbow lickers. It was the hottest dance of the town.
That guy's famous.
Is he though? What's he famous for, Todd?
Cory, you've never done the funk?
I think there was a song about it. We've got the funk.
Oh, it was well before that.
So who is this Vern Funk you're speaking of?
You
Todd?
can Google. You have the interwebs, don't you? Why do I have to educate you from?
'Cause
why do I
I
have to feed you from the spoon of the fountain of my knowledge? Google that bitch.
Feed me, Mama Bird.
Aw. I don't like this visual.
I do.
I got to get my beak wet.
First of all,
Oh, something's getting wet.
first of all, when you start off by referencing someone whose first name is Vern,
Yeah.
you may as well say that it's Gertrude because he's obviously born in the 40s.
No.
Good old
Rest in
Vern
peace,
Funk.
Vern. Funk. F-O-N-K.
We used to listen to him on the phonograph. All right, Todd.
Much like me, Vern's primary job was not dancing, but he was a fabulous dancer. Fabulous.
Yeah, was he?
Yeah.
Okay. You will not get a title of any sort of dancer until we see something recent. But
if I could, can you repeat the question?
If I'm picking up the book already. I knew that was coming. If you could dance any dance perfectly, which dance would you choose? And why? I really want to know about Cory.
Well, ask Cory first. I'm thinking.
Yeah, Todd, you go first a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I found Vern Funk.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And that dude is not 70 years old, is he?
Our propeller stopped, and we were tail spinning out of control, and we finally regained some altitude, and the engine started again, and here he fucking comes Cory shooting one of our wings out.
No, because the only thing that shows up, Todd, Nick, if you had to guess what Vern Funk did for a living, what do you think it would be?
He fucking, I don't know, invented the phonograph. I don't know.
Low-cost Washington and Oregon car insurance salesman.
And he can dance.
Yeah, I'm sure he can. Yeah, Vern Funk is not a... Oh my God. Okay. All insurance. Nothing about dancing.
I told you it wasn't his primary money earner, but that boy could dance.
I'm assuming he has a commercial where he dances in it.
You'd assume, right?
Okay. Well,
is this like a dancing insurance salesman?
He was just an accomplished dancer like myself.
Okay.
People knew him for he's famous for his insurance game, but like me, he's got moves, and you wouldn't expect it out of him either.
Okay, so we're back to Cory. Cory, so what dance would you choose?
I don't know. I'm not as talented as Todd, apparently. So
that's true. No truer statement.
I know, every now and then, because I know none of us are really dancers. Obviously, you know.
What do you mean? None of us. What? Why do you keep saying that,
Todd? I mean, as the younger people, the younger three of the podcast, clearly.
Oh my God.
We know nothing about dancing. We would have to appeal to Bob's sage infinite wisdom.
Yeah, on dancing? Okay. We've seen that.
Have we?
Dude, he in the kitchen?
Oh. Yeah, other than the can, I don't know.
I
think his repertoire I think it ends there. I don't think it goes much further beyond the can.
Or what about Jack's impression of Bob dancing?
Oh my God. I sent a text to Jack, which he never responded. It might have been the wrong number. It was pretty inebriated that night, but I said that my special version of heaven will have some version of Jack imitating his father dancing, because it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I was literally like in tears laughing.
See, so if Jack has seen it, I'm very sure we've seen it.
Yeah, we've seen his
that's not a fun. That's not him being funny.
His weird Gumby dance that he does around you while you're sleeping on the futon, like he does weird.
That's
movements.
all. That's all he's got. That's the only.
That's
move.
it. That's all those. Those are the only arrows in his quiver, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well,
but to answer the question, I think I'd like to learn how to polka. It's part of my heritage, and my parents learned. My mom still knows a little bit, but I have no clue.
Dude.
What?
Did you say the hokey pokey?
Close enough.
If I had to pick this is... I feel like you picked the only dance that would match your personality and your speed, which was
Is there something wrong with that?
this just should be something like setting your sights high, like
that
you
is
know,
pretty
where
high.
Danielle is jumping into your arms, like from Dirty Dancing. You know, you're doing that scene or something like not where you're like, you know,
Dude, doing a polka's hard to do.
Brum, 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 and you're just kind of
It's much quicker than that.
around. Is it?
Oh yes,
Dude, anything with an accordion, I don't know how quick it can go.
very quick.
No. Okay, but that's your answer, Todd.
That's my answer.
Roll on the Barrel says that. So
What?
I guess if there's a dance that I'd want to do perfectly, I guess it'd be the Dougie.
The Dougie?
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen people on TikTok do the Dougie. It does not look that hard.
Okay, so I'd want to do it perfectly.
But I thought you did every dance perfectly.
I give myself a solid B- on the Dougie.
Okay.
Todd, there's a song that'll teach you how to Dougie.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Have you not heard that song, Todd?
I have.
There's a house there, but none of the fucking lights are on.
Nope.
So
What happened?
he was
Cory
playing,
Cory done blanked this out again. He's going to do
Yep.
the Dougie, I think.
He was
Or either
play-
that or stick one of those lightsabers up his butt.
he was as a play on words. He knew that I said a house with no lights, and so he's like, "Ah, look at me."
Exactly.
Danielle's going to bitch in a second. Oh, he just turned the camera on.
Dude, I understand that you guys like to be voyeuristic, but don't take advantage of the podcast to fulfill your sexual fantasies with Danielle.
Oh, I'm not. Trust me, buddy.
It's fucking weird. So for mine, I think I would choose to moonwalk.
I can show that next time I'm in town, dude.
Of course you can. It is something that I know is probably not as hard as it looks. It probably is pretty easy from the amount of people I've seen that can do it. And I've never tried, but I think that'd be cool. And
I think you'll struggle with it.
no,
But I think I could teach you.
no, I've got I get a rhythm like Johnny Cash.
No, it's not about rhythm, but I just think you'll struggle. I think
You should say dancing's.
I think you're kind of weak-footed. So I think I'll probably have to give you some wind aid, right? We'll get you some old penny loafers that are already broken in, some hardwood floors.
Todd, to confirm,
concrete.
did you just say that dancing has nothing to do with rhythm?
No. I said that doing the moonwalk has nothing to do with rhythm.
Well, clearly you've
You can moonwalk all off beat till the cows come home. There's no, I mean, ultimately, if you're a good moonwalker, your upper body is doing the magic that's to the beat. But again, the moonwalk is not in sync with the beat. Well,
No,
unless you're really, really showing off, which, again, if we were in competition, we could talk.
well,
but there's a rhythm to your feet though that have to be correct in order for it to look right.
Bah. I'll teach you both next time I'm in town.
Okay.
You'll owe me.
Todd, if you don't think I have rhythm, clearly you've never been to one of the 8th grade dances that I was at. Cutting a rug to "In a Dream" by Raquel when it came out.
I don't want to paint with broad brushes, but
some may say that either I was catching a rhythm or perhaps Gloria Estefan was right. Eventually, the rhythm is really going to get you.
yeah, broken clocks are right twice a day.
I'm gonna go hang myself now, guys. All right.
Dude, there's not enough references about the Miami Sound Machine, so come on.
Yeah, we need more of those. Just like we could use some more Vern Funk references.
I still
Vern-
don't know who this. I think it's a name he made up.
No, the puzzle pieces go together. It's like I said, it's a insurance salesman in the Washington area, so that's why Todd knows him. Todd probably got his insurance through him.
Oh, that's good.
Besides being a great dancer, he's got an awesome name, and you must admit it.
Oh, that's good.
Todd, you keep your sultry fucking comments to yourself, buddy. We're gonna do one more question, and then we're gonna move on to a little TT's TikToks.
Negative, sir.
We're not.
No, because I'm not there and I can't put anything up on the screen.
You can talk. About it.
What?
You can talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a TikTok. Yeah, that makes a
Corey,
lot of
did
sense.
they play the song for you?
They did.
Bob
cut it a little short.
He's an asshole.
Here you go.
Are you ready?
Tease TikToks.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Tease TikToks.
This is where it gets really serious.
Oh, Todd, see, this is where you should have started. Like, this should be this like, for it, 5 seconds in, that should have started.
No, I was telling Bob because he was about to turn it off last time, and it got to that part, and I was like, "Oh man!" I was like, "That hard." I'm like,
Yeah, dude,
that's the best part of the song.
That should be the first 5 seconds in.
I'm gonna I'll remix it.
All right,
I'll
God,
remix it.
We don't have enough buttons for 3 of them.
Delete 2 of them once he gets the final version
Exactly.
done.
I'll remix it. I'll remix it, and we can replace a couple of them. If you guys like that, like I said, that's what I love. That whole thing was the longest creative experience I've ever had.
I've never even actually really heard that part because Bob's never let it play that long.
So Corey, so he originally came up with,
Are you ready?
which to the untrained ear may sound exactly the same. And I made the comment.
Are you ready?
And I made the comment that I said, "Listen, man, getting a little fucking lazy." Because after he heard, what I can do laying in my fucking bed, not trying at all to make a song, he's like, "Oh, I got to up my game a little bit." And I said, "Todd, all it's saying is TikTok, 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 and some pre-produced song. You did not produce anything."
No, I did. It's like 18 songs, dude.
I said it doesn't even say the name of the segment, and he's like, I got you. And so he's like, all right. He's like, so I fixed it. And we're like, oh, okay. And he goes, and it's just him yelling in the background going, TT's TikToks. So Bob goes to me, he goes, is that the only thing he's changed? I said, he goes, is he saying it all the time? I said, no. He yelled it one time, and he just put it on a loop on the old song. So nothing else has changed.
That's why it's perfect.
Nothing else has changed. I honestly would not change it for the world. It is so ridiculous that I want to keep it. I want to keep it forever and ever.
But I'll remix it. I got to remix that.
Oh yeah, dude, like I said, if we get that,
I'll get that up front. Yeah, I'll get that up
in
front.
The first 5 seconds. That'd be amazing.
Done.
But yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Without,
I think that's the funniest thing, Nick. I sat here for like 4 hours. I'm like, TT's TikToks, TT.
4 hours,
like a true voice actor.
Word.
You were just yelling,
dude.
He had to get the right pitch.
Word. Okay. Word. I'm an artiste. You may not be able to moonwalk now that I think about it.
Well, perhaps one of these days, we can place you on a shelf next to folks like myself, Outcast, the Gregory Brothers, and other people that use auto-tune.
The Gregory Brothers.
Yes. Dude, you know how many auto-tune songs the Gregory Brothers have made that have been popular? Have you not heard It's Corn?
Dude, don't make me sweat in my jersey.
Have you not heard It's Corn? It's pretty catchy. What? You have not?
I have not. Don't.
If Cory can play TikToks, It's Corn is all over fucking TikTok. So we can play that, can't we, Cory?
Yeah, sure. I don't see why not. I mean, if anything, they'll just flag it. But
so It's Corn was an interview. There's apparently like an interview on YouTube or something with this little black kid, like from, I don't know where he's from, but I don't think he's from like our country, and he was talking about how he loved, like little kid, how he loved corn. And
we saw that a couple weeks ago, didn't we?
I don't think so. And
Just play it.
But it's been all over TikTok.
I think
so. The Gregory brothers are famous for. There's if you were to look them up, you would notice a lot of like auto-tuned, like jokey kind of comical songs that they've done. And so they turned this into a song called "It's Corn."
For me, I really like corn.
What do you like about corn?
It's corn. A big lump it nuts. It has the juice. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. It's corn. I can tell
Pull it away a little bit.
I mean, look at this thing. When I try to get out of anything cheap. The bad thing about corn is the grease. The corn break can restore your energy. You really appreciate that whole goal when you love something. If you or anyone loves corn, if you come to me, I can tell you all about it. If I was surrounded by corn, I would eat all of it. Look big and strong. Look at this, eat along with the knob. Spread butter on. Roll your and toast the veggies. That all spreads out the good taste. I just thought corn is disgusting. Anything cheap. It's corn. A big lump it nuts. It has the juice.
So you have to look at how many videos that have been incorporated on TikTok with the "It's Corn" song. I mean, the kid's the cutest kid in the world, but he was definitely not singing when he made the video and was having the interview. And it's absolutely fucking hysterical. There's T-shirts. There's all kinds of things that have come of it. You know that one meme of like that black guy like looking around a tree like licking his lips and they would have like something on it like "When I smell barbecue on the grill" or something like that. They had one of him, and he's like, "When I see a fresh peeled thing of corn," you know, because all he does is talk about corn. He's like, "Oh, it has the juice. It's a big lump with knobs. I got to talk about the grease. You can fry it in grease. You can do this. It gives you energy when the world is bad and it's horrible. I just think about corn." Like everything, he's literally just talking about how much he loves corn on the cob. They turned it into a song.
Gotcha.
So that's the Gregory brothers. If we had some on location TT's TikToks, you could see the video, but you'll definitely have to look it up.
I'll resmash this up, and if you feel like if you feel like my effort was still subpar, I'll mash it up. I'll turn something out, and I'll turn something out Grammy worthy for this.
Grammy worthy.
Yeah.
I would like to hear and pour another shot. I would like to hear I don't know, like some because I might get back into the game. I might try it again. Because I only did the one. Honestly, spent about 30 minutes on it, and I was like, all right, this is it. This is what I'm doing. Whatever song that was free, I just grabbed. And there's still parts of it that I hate, which was this, because I know Bob doesn't always listen to the whole thing for the gentleman's agreement. But let's see. Here we go.
Gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Oh, gentlemen's agreement. Oh, it's the motherfucking gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Oh, gentlemen's agreement. Oh, gentlemen's agreement. Oh, gentlemen's agreement.
So
yeah. That I like that. That is the gold standard right now.
But
I didn't want to go to Fiverr and pay somebody to do it right now, so I was like trying to freaking solve this myself. But the game's been upped. And by the way, I've ordered some special equipment.
Get the fuck out of here. You can't pay for equipment that's going to do all the fucking heavy lifting for you, because I can't afford to do that.
The game has the bar's been raised.
But here's what I'm looking for. Because I might step back into the game myself. and we're gonna do the shot. But what I'm looking for is like that 90s R&B meets the rap game, because that's where I'm where I'm getting.
Yeah.
Some Casey and JoJo, some kind of like that's what I'm looking for. Some auto tune, some beats.
Gotcha.
Like, that's because it never died in my heart.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
You know what I'm vibing on though, right here, right now. Well, Jesus Jones.
Right here, right now, like the 90s song?
Yeah. Jesus Jones.
That right here, right now.
Yeah. It was taking me a second to get the song in my head, but yeah, I remember that.
That's not R&B.
That I'm gonna do two versions. I'll do R&B, but I do like that right here, right now. That's what's jumping out at me.
So you wanna do like the 90s alternative kind of.
That's what's jumping right out at me.
Yeah, I mean, great, because this is what jumped out at me. If you can put something like that together, where that would be great. If you could do like a version of Chicka Cherry Cola, that would be awesome.
All right.
Cheers.
Chicka Cherry Cola. Cheers, boys.
Salute.
Sweet Machu Picchu.
Wow.
Apple bottoms, baby. Apple bottoms.
All right.
How'd you know my nickname, Todd?
Boots with the fur. Todd, I'm assuming. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, as you know, we didn't talk about this episode much before we went into it, which is fine because, like we've always said, this is the Schnozzcast. We are friends that get together and we have a good time, and we're not putting too much pressure on it. And we enjoy our company together, and we would think that you guys would as well. And if things get too segmented out, then it takes away from what the true goal of us putting the show on for everybody really means. But that being said, Todd, do you have anything else in regards to segments you normally do that you want to talk about?
I do, and I'm glad that you posited it this way, because I didn't think it was a 90-second sports segment. But, and I know, Nick, you're not a sports guy, but have you ever heard the phrase, if you're not cheating, you're not trying?
No, I have not.
Well, that's true to sports. True sports fanatics, again, they want their home team to win no matter what. And again, I've been listening to broadcasts on the radio of football games, and I found it very interesting on the radio, especially on the XM, Sirius XM channels for football. When they do a broadcast, whatever the primetime game is, the local guys, wherever the home team is, that's who actually broadcasts on Sirius XM. And the guys are slappies. And so I really, really wanted to talk about that in a 90-second sports segment. But then something in the news jumped out. And I know that I really ride that fine line of what is sport in my segment, 90-second sports. But chess, the world of chess has been rocked with a cheating scandal. There have been allegations that one of the top 3 players in the world of chess has been cheating. And again, this chess is a game that's been around for a long, long time. This is a gentleman's game. And so cheating, very, very foreboding, not what you want to do. But the level and how they are cheating, it really rang true to me. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. And if you're trying, try hard. In that the recent scandal around the world of chess is that the champion is having anal beads inserted into his buttocks.
Tell me more, sir.
And during the match, another person is sending him signals into his rectum to help him to win.
So is this something that we've talked about before on the show, or was this what someone brought up at my job? Because somebody brought. Listen, man. Listen, I work with predominantly, I'd say 9 out of 10 of the people I work with are guys, and I've only worked there for almost 2 months. And there are 2 things that I can share. One, they always talk about football, and I even looked at the one little scrawny guy.
Nick's favorite place to be,
dude. They have a 5-foot custom-made trophy for fantasy football, like a legit black and gold trophy, like that.
Oh, I know what I'm assigning you for gentleman's agreement now.
That was just shipped to them. That they were parading around the office. At least 3.5 hours a day, they will get up from their desk and fraternize in one room, yelling and screaming about fantasy football. And I'm like, okay, it's like it's fantasy football season. This is the time. This is the time for it. So at one point, literally, like the bullpen was completely vacated. And it was me and this one Jewish guy who looks like he's completely Amish, and he's got a beard like down to here. And I forgot that he's the only other person that doesn't like sports, because it was like day one. It was like day one that I said, I don't like sports. And you could just tell all these people were like, okay, well, we don't want to talk to this guy ever again.
I was going to say,
talk to this guy.
How were you able to turn down everyone coming to you being like, hey, so you join our fantasy league?
No, first of all, because they're not going to ask me, because
he's too new. He's a noob. No, you don't invite the new guy to the league.
First of all, I'm new, but then they're like, bro, did you see the Patriots? And I'm like, no, I don't get into sports. And they're like, okay. And they're like, the light switch just turns off. And
exactly.
They're like, all right, well, we don't got to talk to him ever again. Really,
kryptonite.
Even about business, we really shouldn't talk to him, because
correct,
he's just not one of us.
Correct.
And it's hysterical, because not only are like the foot soldiers of the company into football, but they all party at like one of the like associate level people, like has like a huge house. And he's like, oh yeah, this Arabic kid. He's like, oh yeah, everyone's coming over this Friday and da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Guys that work together and they get together for fantasy football. I get that. Not only our boss's boss, and our boss's boss's boss all go to his house for fantasy football. Like everybody in the company goes to this fucking kid's house. For the whole company, like there's no like, oh, this is a subordinate, like we don't do that, we don't see him outside of work. They're all like, oh yeah, Casey, we'll see you on Friday, because we're all gonna be at your house. I'm like, I can't have one leg up at this company ever on anything. If the fucking CEO of the company is going to one of the associates' houses for fantasy football, and then there's this fucking idiot new guy who's like, I don't like sports.
Exactly. Career limiting move.
I was gonna say, so you're kind of screwed, huh, buddy?
Yeah, I'll send you a script. I'll send you a script every week, Nick.
Don't talk to us. But so anyhow, so like the bullpen had been vacated, and this happens several times a day. And as a result, it's like if you're a smoker, which I can jump on that bandwagon now. There's never been any finger wagging at the new job. There's never been any like, oh, he's a vapor. Like there are so many people that smoke cigarettes at this job that they're like, oh, go for a smoke. You go out like once an hour. They're like, you come outside. They're like, you have something in your hand that smokes. You want to come outside? Like, so they're very excited. So just like a smoker, it's understood that if you have this horrible habit, that you can waste a certain amount of time every day.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
these sports guys are like, it's completely understood throughout the whole company that it doesn't matter how busy we are, that if at any given point they all want to get up and stop working
and talk about football,
start screaming in the next room about football for 45 minutes, everyone's okay with it. And the two people that are not into sports are just feverishly working away, trying to catch up everything. And I'm like, yeah, I should really just pretend to get into football. So
you should. I will send you a script, because you're hurting yourself for no good reason.
So I can have some breaks. But so I looked over at the guy that looks Amish, and I'm like, hey, dude, he really does. And I go, hey man, I said, no. I said, hey, buddy, I said, I got a question for you. And it literally was him and I in the room. And everyone was like, you would swear that the Super Bowl was going on in the next fucking room. They're like, there's people are like throwing chairs. They're like, no, I told you. No, dude, fucking Johnson should be on my fucking team. And I'm like, oh, my God. And so I look over.
That's not what they say.
No, that's what they say. And it's all Greek to me. And so I look over at him and I said, hey, buddy. I said, I'm assuming this is fantasy football season. I know. I said, so how much of this do I have to look forward to? Is this a right around the fantasy season time?
Season.
I said, or is this is their love of football like an all year? And he cuts me off and he goes, no, it's all year round. And I go, wait, what? I go, football's not on all year round. He goes, yeah, there's a few months where it's basketball, but it's mainly football all the time. Like, no.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That, you know what you should do, dude? Just bring me in for fucking bring your friend to work day. I'll hook you up, man. I'll get you promoted.
Somewhere, someplace, Tony, my friend Tony and Todd are like, you couldn't have worked at a fucking worse place in your life. So
Nick, I don't even get into all that, and I'm pretty pleased with that story.
Oh my
That's
God,
awesome.
dude.
It is
Corey,
phenomenal.
It is every day, all day long, like every 35 minutes, they'll break into like a 20-minute football.
You have 12 to 15 more weeks of this.
Yeah. No, it's all year.
Yeah. Well, no. So fantasy football ends just before the playoffs, just because not every team makes it to the playoffs, and so there'd be an unfair advantage. So once before the playoffs, your Super Bowl will have been played. I think the last week. So it's a 17-week season. We're in week 3. So yeah, you're about 14 weeks. You're about 14 weeks away from.
This is like as if I did some horrible things in my life, and this is my purgatory. Like this is they're like, you are gonna have to work, and you're gonna have to work your ass off, and all these other people are just gonna be talking about sports around you constantly, and there's nothing you can do, and this is what you're gonna have to do to survive for all of eternity. And so I'm like, I'm serving some sort of penance. I understand it. I look up, I tell God, I'm like, okay, I get it. So I know I have not been the most Christian Catholic person in my life, so I get that I'm being punished. I understand.
Embrace the sports, man.
No.
Embrace the sports. I'll hook you up, man.
Dude, listen.
In fact,
listen to me.
if you want to get promoted, say, did you guys see the greatest collapse in all of sports last week when Cleveland lost to the Jets?
No.
Just say that. Make that statement.
I don't want to engage them, Todd, because I'm not going to know any follow-up answers, and they're going to be like, blah, 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 and then they're going to want to talk to me.
If you say what I just said, you won't have to say another word for 4 hours.
Listen
and then go, and what about the frickin' Ravens?
Listen to me, including my bosses, and I would say 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, let's say if there were 10 employees, 8 out of 10 of those employees have miniature football helmets in little lucite boxes all over their desk. Every single person does.
You don't?
Little fucking miniature helmets.
Yeah.
With
I have
fucking.
You have all the teams and all your college teams you like too.
Why? What are the miniature helmets? I don't get what.
They're like Funkos, you bitch.
Todd,
you don't hate on Funkos. You don't hate on Funkos.
I do hate on Funkos all the time.
Todd, I think we just found out what we need to buy Nick for his
exactly. We need
Christmas
to start him
gift
out
and
with
his
a
birthday
helmet collection. With a helmet collection.
Yes, sir.
No, you know what you need to do? You know what would be the funniest thing in the fucking world is if we designed a Schnozzcast miniature helmet, because I'm sure there's a company that will design a fucking helmet for you for like high school teams and shit for mini helmets. And I will keep that under one helmet. I will keep that on my fucking desk. People will be like, "Oh, who's that? Does your fucking son play for them?" Exactly. And I'll be like, "No, I hate football. That's my podcast."
You know what? You just buy that. We'll just buy a Arizona Cardinals helmet, because that fucking helmet's used at every high school in every city in the country.
Dude, even my boss, like, so it's kind of funny. He's like, I went in one of my bosses, so there's like 3 managers. I went in one of my boss's office, and he's got a full-size helmet that's signed, and like 10 mini helmets that are signed. And I'm like, oh God, I feel like I'm behind enemy lines. And but then I saw like 4 Scarface posters, and like 2 of them were signed. There was a Godfather poster that was signed, and he had a placard that said the placard in the intro of The Office that says The Office with the little brown one, and that was on his door. And so I'm like, okay, all right, well, some of this I can get on board with, so I think I'm cool. And he's the one that really loved Tawas, so I'm like, all right, I'm okay with that. The rest of it I can fucking throw out the window. But
send me the link to your recruiting office. I think I'm going to work there a couple hours a week.
Dude, Cory also, the one that I call a tall Cory, who I've told probably pretty much everyone but you. I think you've probably heard it in conversation. But he's a very, very tall version of Cory. And he's very cool, but he loves Tawas and The Office and sports and all these other things. But what the fuck was I going to tell you guys? I don't know. It'll come back to me. I'll tell you in a second. I got too excited. I'll tell you in a second.
Hey, what did this have to do with my chest story?
Your chest.
My chest.
About cheating your chest with the anal beads.
Yes.
Which I believe it's an omnibot.
Because it all came fucking screaming back to me. Oh, by the way, I got made fun of at work for using the term intimately.
Well, you should.
Some fucking dude, because they're all a bunch of fucking smartasses, and they're very quick, and some of them are very geeky. But anyhow, one of the dudes is like, I was talking about how one of these fucking drivers called me and was bitching at me over the phone, and I had to scream at him back and forth. And he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And he brought up the guy's name. And I said, trust me, I intimately understand what you're talking about. I had a conversation with him yesterday, and he's like, well, intimately, I don't know if you should be fucking saying that about another dude. And I'm like...
And you said you're a knuckle-dragging dumbass, sir?
Laugh it up. Everybody else did.
Oh, boy.
Laugh it up. But I said, you understand that term has other uses than sexual. He's like, yeah, but
I'm a dumbass.
Sexual. It's pretty sexual. It's pretty sexual. I'm like,
There you go. Still, send me the number to your recruiting office. I'll take care of this.
Yeah,
I got your best interest at heart. I got you covered, dude. Now all I want to do now, no matter what, I don't care what you say. Every weekend, I'm going to send you my fantasy football quote of the week, and you use it or not.
Oh, dude, it's fucking ridiculous. Like I said, this trophy was like almost as tall as I was, and I'm like, they're like, oh, we just got a new trophy this year. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
I was going to say, I'm going to show. I already know what I'm assigning you next. I get you for Gentleman's Agreement. There's a show called The League that's about a fantasy football league.
No, don't assign me something that I'm going to hate.
You're going to love it. I love it. You're going to love it.
Dude, but between me not remembering
it's
anything
not sports. It's not sports. That's
between me not remembering anything I was supposed to talk about and Cory completely blacking out 3 times during the show, I think we're doing a fantastic job. So
that's what she said.
Oh,
well, I'm trying to help you out a little, man. Rather than telling you that I'm got to get up or go, just cut the camera off. So
if you didn't notice, Bo's not too enthralled with our. Bo's like, dude.
I saw him a couple times in there. Finally let him in the office, huh?
He's coming back. He's like, he's here alone. We're here alone. So he's like, yeah, I've had enough, dude. I'm not entertained. He doesn't like fantasy football either. He comes upstairs because I actually fire up all the TVs and get all the games going. And then he comes into the room and he starts whining at me like, dude, really?
Oh, you should have Nick over. You'd have a good friend.
See, if Nick were here, I'd be having him sous chef all the stuff that we do during the first halftime to get the eggs fired up. So he'd be slicing, dicing, and making stuff ready for me to get on the grill.
Wait, hold on. Wait a second. What makes you think that I would be your sous chef and not reversed?
There's on football Sunday, I already have a primary gig, and I figured you'd be happy because I'll flip the script on the other day on Sunday
Okay.
on Saturday.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, Mister, can you please send me this recipe? Tell me I'm slicing fucking onions and carrots. Oh, if Nick was here, he'd be slicing.
It'd be my slice and dicing.
He'd be slicing celery for me.
Dude, I'm gonna be sending you freaking Whoppers to say the instead of sitting at the freaking at your desk with one other dude, you need to be taking your smoke break in with the fantasy footballers, and I'll give you the exact sayings you need to say to be in the know.
But
that is now my mission,
dude. So
to enable you.
So this past week we had some sort of like driver appreciation. So like the CEO of the company bought like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fucking hamburgers, like pre-made patties. Apparently our company has a roll-out flat top, like 6-foot flat top grill that they rolled out in the fucking parking lot. They put up pavilion tents everywhere. He gave the tall Cory fucking $500 to go buy cornhole, like off of someone off Facebook, and then they were going to auction it off to one of the guys. They bought like everything that goes with fucking burgers and everything like that. And so like all day it was like, just go outside. And he made all the managers cook for all the employees. And so tall Cory was very upset because he's like, I've been on my feet all day fucking slinging hamburgers. I fucking smell like burgers. I had to throw my clothes away. I'm like, dude, so I told every boss I had, I'm like, you know my background. I'm more than happy to cook. Nope. Managers are doing it. I'm like, all right.
We did my when I was still at EMC, I really liked this. We had engineering leaders would cook breakfast for everybody at the company every quarter. And I really got a kick out of that because I was a manager. I love to cook, and I was always at the bacon station because that's the most popular station.
Yeah. So far
the whole building. Sorry, 1 sec.
Yeah.
The whole I think we leased like 3 floors in this 8-story building, and the whole 8-story building plus the surrounding block smelled like bacon for a whole day and a half after we'd cook every engineering breakfast.
So I've never worked anywhere. Like I'm super excited. I've always been like in law enforcement since I was 18. So for like literally 20 years, like where most guys in a couple years could be retiring. I'm just an idiot. So I was in law enforcement for like 20 years. And so we always had to work holidays, like Cory knows. We you're the new guy. If you're ever a new guy at a company, like, yeah, you're working every fucking holiday. You're fucking going to work. You're going home. You're mandatory overtime. You're being mandated, all this shit. This job, I've never worked an office job, and it's just so fucking funny. Like grilling hamburgers in the parking lot in the middle of the day. Like, come on, free food. The one day they're like, oh yeah, we ordered this nice Italian restaurant down the road. We ordered like 15 pizzas and salad and pasta and shit for everybody. I'm like, what the fuck is this? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, if we make our numbers, I make the CEO buy everybody food for, the month. Every month we do this. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then today he's telling me, he's like, oh yeah, dude, we have like 2 Christmas parties, and we've got some company North Faces that we're gonna give out that you can wear if it gets cold. We usually give those out around Christmas, and then you're gonna get, of course, you're gonna get your Christmas bonus. And I'm like, what is going on with this company? What is happening? And then the day after fucking crazy hamburger parking lot day, the fucking CEO comes walking out, and he's like, hey guys, yeah, we got way too many hamburgers. You guys just want to do that again? Let's just do it all over again. And we're like, okay. And I'm like, this is really making it fucking hard for me, not drinking during the week and trying to eat salads for lunch every fucking day, to have 2 days of cheeseburgers and fucking Doritos and chips. Albeit I didn't have to fucking buy lunch, but it was still fucking very, very fucking different.
Dude, I'm trying, and yeah, speaking on what you said about our previous jobs and career, path. It's definitely different now, working in different industries and seeing how you're treated as an employee and what gets done. It's pretty crazy.
Welcome to the dark side.
Dude, I don't
bring Todd back up on camera.
Yeah, he's nowhere to be found. But yeah.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we can hear you, buddy.
All right.
But yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's much different.
It's much different.
And as small as those gestures are, like it's you do appreciate them a lot, especially coming from something in the past that we never had.
Well, I was going to say, it's different, and it's different places. Ultimately, I've always, again, I've been in technology for forever, and technology companies do really interesting and sometimes really cool things, and especially when they're making their numbers and whatnot. I mean, there are stories where they would drop at Christmas parties hundreds of thousands of dollars in balloons and other gifts to people. We would routinely every year at our annual sales kickoff meeting give away 5 Harley Davidsons, a lease, a fully paid lease to a Ferrari, and other cool shit to people who kicked ass at the company. And I thought those were really, really kind of grandiose things, like once a year. But when I moved out here to Seattle, I thought what was cool was we had our own personal barista, so we had basically better than Starbucks for free in our office every day. From 8 to 5, plus every Tuesday and Thursday, dinner was brought in for the crew. So if you worked beyond 5, you just put in your order, and they'd bring in whatever you wanted for dinner. They'd rotate the restaurants and pay for all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, white collar world isn't so bad,
dude. First of all, I'm kind of glad that you're gone because you're kind of stealing my thunder. But I'm very excited about parking lot burgers, and you're talking about giveaway Ferraris. So toot fucking motherfucker. But I will say that my buddy Ron, who used to be one of my roommates, like he was an art director and he made a shit ton of money. And one night he had to pick up something from work. He worked at this place in Southfield, and he's like, "Oh man, I never showed you my job." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, dude, well, why are we going? It's like fucking 11 o'clock at night. We like left the bar with a bunch of friends, and he's like, oh yeah, we're really close by. He's like, we'll just stop there real quick. And I'm like, you're not going to your job right now. And he's like, no, it's fine. We got a key card. You can go in at any time. If you want to work, you can work. They give you a laptop to go home with and everything. It's fine. And I was like, okay. And this is before I knew Todd and Bob. So I'm like, okay. We went in. Dude, it was like basically like a giant like New York flat, like a huge one floor. Everybody had offices on the outside, like windows, but the inside was like almost like a children's playscape. There were ping pong tables, there were fucking beanbag chairs. It was like watching that movie Toys. Like something that you would never think that would exist. And I'm like, what the fuck is, like, a little rock climbing wall? I'm like, what is this? He's like, oh, well, since we work in a creative field, sometimes, we get like creative blocks, that we can't think of, what to do with certain things or advertisements. So, we'll come out and play some games and do a little rock climbing and take a couple breaks and then we go back to work. And I'm like, what the fuck country is this, dude? What job is this? This is fucking insane. So that's kind of the yardstick I always put it up to. And
welcome to tech, dude. Every place I've worked, other than but the Fed has some we need to edit that out. But where I work now has some pretty interesting perks. But every technology company I've ever worked at, I've had foosball, ping pong, all those things, multiple kegerators. We used to actually have I think it was every other Friday was Nights of the Scotch Table, where people would bring really, really cool vintage scotches and whiskeys that they'd liked. And yeah, I think that what you're describing is everyday happenstance in the technology world.
And that's what he told me. He said that, oh, we have a club, at work, and a lot of times if we get like a mental fog, we'll go out for like a couple hour lunch and we'll do like different like Scotch tastings or like whiskey or whatever, and get the juices flowing and come back and be creative. And I'm like, I mean, I get it. Like, I know a lot of people are super creative after having a couple cocktails or smoking weed or whatever, but I'm like, dude, and they pay you, they fucking pay you for this. I'm like, dude, I was excited about a fucking frozen hamburger in the parking lot. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like when I first moved out here, and I've been in offices where people allow alcohol. People are, and when I was still working in Michigan, the only real kind of, it was an unwritten rule because it wasn't like at broadcast that you should have alcohol in the office, but it was like after 5 o'clock, people would open up their fridges under their desks and have a beer and have a nice drink in the office together. But when I got out here to Seattle, it was very odd that we had like these multiple kegerators with craft beers, and to see engineers drinking like during the workday. Like you're in the office right after lunch, a guy's poured himself a Guinness, and he's sitting at his desk dealing with a customer issue with a beer at his desk, or the guy's doing bug triage with glasses of scotch around a table solving customer issues. That was very, very foreign to me when I first moved out here, but now it's like that's table stakes. And bring your dog to work.
Well, I mean, that's the crazy thing, because like Cory's been doing
Nick,
that.
Scroll up to the top of Switcher real quick.
Cory's been
Todd back up.
Cory's been doing that for fucking years. I mean, it hasn't been allowed, but he's been doing it for years. So
Drinking scotch at work? Yeah, I wish. That'd be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, actually, at the startup I was at before, we'd do bug triage, and it was like the most boring, dry meeting ever. And we would bring a good bottle of whatever whiskey that they really liked into the room, and we would have a nice drink and do work.
Literally, the tall Cory said today. And this is not the point I was going to bring up earlier, because it was something actually really funny, and I completely forgot about it because I don't leave a trail of breadcrumbs before I start down one of my Nick stories. But he was like, and he'll always like come out in like the bullpen area, and he's just like kind of like stretches and just like talks about anything but work. And he's like, yeah, I was thinking about like I want some kind of decanter for my office, like a decanter, you know what I mean, like a decanter. And we're like, what? And he's like, like Mad Men kind of thing, like some kind of decanter, man, like like some scotch or some fucking whiskey or something, like you're having a bad day, you just got some scotch, man, like in some fancy fucking glasses, like you can just go grab or offer it to someone. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll buy one. And I'm like, yeah, what the fuck is this place?
Which, Todd, I think you need a nice decanter right behind you on your setup there.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, right where you looked. That's where a nice fancy decanter needs to go.
So, oh, fuck me. So
Are you all right over there, man?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Nick just spilled his shot glass
all over the road.
No, there's nothing on the road. No, I decided for the first time to have the fucking headphones to the right because I'm trying to control everything at the same time instead of the left. And it fucking
Holy
took.
Cow!
It took.
I've never heard anybody freaking talk about how much work they're doing.
You asked the question. It took this right off the fucking table. So anyhow, let's go do a shot. Cheers. What the fuck?
Salute.
Doesn't matter. Not a drop is on the road, Bob.
Sorry, James Brown, the hardest working man in show business. Clearly.
No, it's just kind of funny because as much shit as you give Bob for spilling drops of shots on the table, you just spilled an entire one.
Well, I had nothing to do with it. I literally didn't touch the table. I didn't touch the shot.
You had nothing to do with it.
Dude, this did it. This fucking did it. What do you want me to do?
Would that have done it if it wasn't attached to you?
You know what? It wouldn't have done it probably if we weren't a lot of fucking things that happened tonight. So, but anyhow, so
there she is.
So the tall Cory. So today's the first day. Like, so when I first got this job, like I met with these managers, and they were all wearing like Under Armour polos, khaki pants, and I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is a good uniform. I don't have to wear fucking vest and duty belts and regular belts and fucking work boots and same shit. Like, this is good. Like, I could get into the fucking business casual. This is awesome. So I went out and got like $1,500 worth of business casual clothes, all these Under Armour shirts. And I would say a good like 7 out of 10 of the people that work there wear the same thing. So I'm completely fine with it. But now that the weather's getting cold, I'm like, okay, dude, I don't have like a company coat or like a pullover that I can wear like a lot of the guys have. So I'm like, you know what?
You guys are throwing multiple burger parties a week and they haven't given you any of the swag?
Well,
what kind of shit company is that? When I roll in, dude, I get a sweatsuit, jackets, gloves, boots, monogrammed freaking bottle openers, freaking wine glasses.
Ferrari,
no, I never won a Ferrari, but my company did send me to the Super Bowl.
But so I asked about it today. I said I noticed some of the guys have black North Face coats that have the company logo. And they're like, oh yeah, you get around Christmas. I'm like,
there you go,
whatever
swag.
So,
Coffee
but I did get like 2 hats, 2 different kinds of hats, like water bottles, all kinds of fucking stupid ass pens and shit. But anyhow, that doesn't keep me warm. So I'm like, you know what? The weather went from 87 to 57 in one fucking day. And so I'm like, you know what? It's Friday. I'm wearing a North Face fucking hoodie. That's maroon. They gave me a maroon hat with the company logo on it and khakis.
With Maroon 5 on it?
No, fuck Maroon 5. And fucking khakis. And I'm like, this is what I'm wearing. Came in. We don't have like fucking casual Fridays or anything like that. And I would say a good number of everybody at work was wearing casual shit. So including the tall Cory, who came in a flat brim Detroit hat, which he's like in his 50s. So just imagine Bob wearing that. It just didn't make any sense.
I have a question, clarifying question.
Yeah.
Is tall Cory taller than 5'7"? Or is he like 7'2"?
Tall Cory.
Todd, go fuck yourself. I am nearly taller than you.
I'm nearly taller than you. That should be the name of this episode. I'm nearly taller than you.
Tall Cory is almost taller than me.
So he's like 5'10".
No.
Todd, you're not even fucking close to 5'10".
Tall Cory is almost 6 feet.
There we go. Tall Cory. I'm like, I want to get a gauge. I'm like, tall Cory to me is like 5'7". He
honestly might even be
fuck yourself.
He honestly might even be taller than me. And so he came walking in, and his boss looked at him and he said, he goes, I didn't get the memo that we were having casual Fridays. And he's like, the guy's he called him by his last name. Let's say it's Smith. He's like, fuck you, Smith. I fell down the stairs today. Don't get me fucking started. He stormed in his office. But this is the tail end of, he was off for a week because his kids gave him COVID. And then he came into work, and one of the drivers gave him ribs, and he ate them. And for the next 4 days, he had the shits. And I told him about one of our sergeants at Fairlane that I saw was marinating ribs one day in the fucking kitchen sink in the break room. And I said, this is why you never trust taking homemade food. And he goes, don't even fucking say that. Don't even mention that to me, because my constitution is not that great right now. He's like, And so then I told him, I said, there were some Chinese people that we locked up before that were in the news that they ended up finding out were marinating their fucking chicken in a bathtub in an apartment that they were all staying in.
Do they have ice in it though?
No. And he's like,
I think bathtub chicken's pretty good if you got a little bit of ice in there.
He goes, no, it's the most disgusting thing I've ever fucking heard. And so like, he's very simple. And so he's like, I go out to smoke. And so like a little bit later on that day, and he was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do on my stomach. He's like, this fucking sucks. He's like, I'm pissing out my ass all fucking day. He's like, I had COVID for a week. He's like, this fucking sucks, man. I should never eaten those ribs. And I said, those bathtub ribs? And he's like, don't even fucking, seriously, Bader, don't fucking call them bathtub ribs, man. He's like, because I'm going to throw the fuck up. I will seriously throw up. I'm like, oh my God. So he's COVID for a week, pissing out his ass for fucking 3 to 4 days. Guy just started to get himself back together and fell down the steps.
That's awesome.
I go, what the fuck is it?
Dude, he wronged somebody. That's the universe catching up with him.
I go, Andy, I said, how'd you fall on the steps? One of my kids' goddamn toys.
Yeah, exactly. He did something wrong and karma corrected.
Dude, if you can yell at your boss and say, don't fuck with me, Smith, I fell down the steps. So there's all these people that are like, there's no reaction at work, and I am hysterically laughing at things like this. I'm like,
but you're in last place because you're still hanging out with freaking dude in the fucking bullpen while everybody else is talking about why fucking Cleveland's fucking quarterback is good.
And dude, it's fucking hysterical. Dude, it was so fucking funny. I'm like, oh my God, fell down the steps. What is wrong with you?
Who does that?
Yeah, what is wrong with you? Are you stupid?
Never happened to me.
Tell me more about this tall Cory. So you said he's...
God damn it.
Tall Cory's awesome, man.
Exactly. He's probably swift, too. He's like probably...
No, he's not swift at all.
No.
No, he's predominantly Cory. He's just tall.
Oh, okay. So he's not the Tawas Titan.
He came walking out one day, like rubbing his stomach. And he's like, hey, and he kind of talks like a Muppet. He has kind of like a Muppety voice. And he's like,
Cory.
He's like, hey, man, hey, Nick, man, so what, man? You got like all your hair and you just fucking shave it for the fun of it? And I'm like, yeah, I just shaved my head. He's like, fuck that. He just walks outside.
Sounds just like Cory.
He's like, I've been losing my hair for years. I'm like, he's still got hair, but I'm like, okay.
But he's tall,
yeah,
unlike Cory.
He's very tall. Yeah, I think he might even be taller than me. He's a big dude.
I like him.
He's a big
He
dude.
sounds like a guy I'd like. I should meet him next time I come into town.
Dude, he's such a nice guy. He's very simple, but he's hysterical, but he doesn't know he's hysterical.
Like Cory.
It's the best. That's the best.
Cory doesn't know he's hysterical.
He'll answer. You'll hear him like he'll be.
Go fuck yourself, Todd.
He'll be 30 feet away in his office, and all of a sudden you hear, and he's like I said, his voice is very Muppety, and he'll be like, "Oh God damn it!" And I'll be like, I just fucking lose it because it's the same way with Cory. Like when Cory gets upset, like legitimately upset, it cracks me the fuck up. I don't know why. And I said it to Bob, and Bob's like, "Yeah, I feel the same way." And I said, why is that?
So glad you guys share that in common.
No, I asked him. I said, why is that? Like, he's one of our best friends. Like, why would we find pleasure? And he said, because it's Cory. I guess that's true. I guess that's fucking true.
That sounds so amazing.
Must be true.
Great fucking friends.
Yeah.
Todd, you watch your movie?
I did.
Nick, you watch yours?
Nope, I didn't because we switched days, and I usually watch it on Friday.
That movie that's sitting right there next to you?
Yeah, I normally watch it tonight, and we had to switch it. But we can certainly go into that and talk about the ones that you guys watched.
Well, that works for me.
Is there a drop?
agreement, gentlemen's agreement, gentlemen's agreement, gentlemen's agreement, gentlemen's agreement, gentlemen's agreement.
Nope.
Gentlemen's
Whatever.
Well, bring Todd back.
I know, what an asshole. I was dancing. Oh, you know what I saw this weekend, boys? Oh, you guys, I forgot you guys are freaking young pups. Do you know who Roger Waters is?
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, well, we saw the text from Bob that said you went to see Roger Waters.
Do you guys even know who he is?
No, I have no clue personally. I don't. Well, we could have asked Nick, but he just walked away. No, who is Roger Waters?
He is one of the founding members of the band Pink Floyd.
Oh, okay.
Got to see him at the Tacoma Dome this past weekend. What an amazing show. A 70-plus-year-old artist still freaking putting up real high quality.
We would assume nothing less. Like any artist that you know is probably at least in their 70s. So,
so hang on. Is he the last surviving member of Pink Floyd?
Well, no. So he and Syd Barrett started Pink Floyd. So they were the two original foundings. But David Gilmour is also one of the early Pink Floyd people. And Gilmour actually retains the name of Pink Floyd, so he can still tour under the band name Pink Floyd.
Okay,
even though he's not a founding member.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
amazing show, amazing show, and I didn't know exactly how it was going to go. For everybody out there, Roger Waters, again, founding member of Pink Floyd. If you comfortably numb is probably one of my favorite songs of all time.
It's an awesome song.
And he's the author. He's the voice. That was the only thing I could say negative about the show is he was not able to sing those notes that he did on the Wall album. But the show was phenomenal. They had, instead of pigs doing loop-de-loops in the arena, they had giant sheep. I didn't know how it was going to go because if you know Pink Floyd and love their music, I mean they're up there with the Grateful Dead, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles. I think they're that ilk of band. Roger Waters has very deeply entrenched political views, especially about us being humans to one another. I didn't know how it was going to go because I think a lot of people in my generation love Pink Floyd. But I thought it was pretty awesome. He's like, a number of you the first announcement, the show will begin in 15 minutes. And then right when the show starts, he's like, for those of you in the crowd who say, I love Pink Floyd and Pink Floyd's music, but I don't give a rat's ass about Roger Waters' political views and hope that shit, he's like, please kindly fuck off and go to the nearest pub and leave. And I saw no less than like 500 Thin Blue Line things. And again, it wasn't a political concert, but it was very poignant. And he highlighted through the graphical interface of the concert and the songs and the meanings, even the meanings behind songs that were old from the late 60s and 70s. Amazing show. I saw Pink Floyd play at the Silverdome, and for you youngins, so you probably don't even know what the Silverdome is or was. What an amazing that is to this day the greatest concert show that I've ever seen in my life. And Roger Waters delivered another top 5 show at 78 years old, and so bravo. Thought it was awesome. So
that's awesome, man. I'm glad you got to go see him.
That's Muddy's brother, right?
Muddy Waters. Love it, but not so.
I was just
but not true.
Like an old man reference. I figured you'd know.
Another brilliant musician. I do know.
Oh, dude. Awesome. Absolutely.
So Todd,
Yes, sir.
you had what was your movie this week?
Untold.
Or last week, sorry.
Yeah, Untold, the girlfriend that didn't exist.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Who assigned that to me?
I did.
Cory, I don't know what you've been drinking or smoking or doing, but you're on a roll with TD.
Stroke that fucking cock, Todd.
Well, because again, I'm gonna give this a solid A.
Holy fucking A from Todd.
And here's why. I'm ashamed of myself. Again, we are all humans, and we are fallible, and we make mistakes, and we make fun, and we don't take people's feelings and thoughts in their circumstance into account a lot of the times. And I, for one, am going to step out on a limb and say I was the guy who made fun of Manti Te'o. He is so again, 30-second synopsis. It's the true story narrated by the victim in this story. Manti Te'o was a Hawaiian football player who went to Notre Dame and had a magnificent career at Notre Dame. And then his pro aspirations, even with the success, were thwarted because he kind of got, I don't even know what the word to describe it is. His circumstance got him caught up in a situation where he was tarnished beyond being able to recover. And so he played in the NFL. His career didn't last very long. He's a footnote in the NFL, and no one knows how good or great he would have ever been. But literally, I believe that his career was thwarted, not due to injury like most people who are playing in the NFL, but it was thwarted because someone made a mistake. Because I'm going to look on both sides of the thing, and the stigmas that we put on people in our society can damage people so that they can't do what they do best. I think it touched me deeply. So Manti Te'o, again, that's I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but Manti Te'o, college, grew up in Hawaii, where it's family, God, it's God, family, football are the top three priorities in the home. He's a fabulous football player. He's all set to go to USC. And if he goes to USC, I shit you not, people of this podcast, he is a name that you might remember, like Dick Butkus, like Mike Singletary. And for those of you who know sports, he should, based on what he did in college, he should be able to be one of those names that is an NFL Hall of Famer. But his circumstance, and truly all the right things seemed to happen, he ended up getting catfished. And that'll be the only spoiler I'll do. He got catfished, and it really tanked his life. I mean, I'm sure that financially he's set today, but it's a situation where a person never reaches their potential because people who are small-minded, and he made a mistake, and an honest mistake at that, cost him everything. And it's like I said, I give it a solid A. I think everybody should see it.
So and that was something it was on the side burner for you. And I knew the title wasn't going to give anything away. So I was kind of hoping when I gave it to you, you're going to be like, what the fuck is this? But I was really hoping and kind of knew that you were going to like it. Because even when I watched it, I remember the whole quote unquote scandal going down when it was happening. And to see and actually hear his side of the story, and to have the other person that was involved in the story. Yeah, good job there, buddy.
As you're fucking doing so.
So to hear everything,
it really illuminated everything, didn't it?
Yeah, because at the time I was even thinking, I'm like, yeah, this guy's
he's a dumbass,
piece of shit.
Well, I never thought he was a piece of shit. I'm like, this dude's the most gullible dude in the history of gullible dudes, and why should I feel bad for somebody so easily built? And that was my take. And then when you see how everything played out and you hear how it happens, you're like, holy cow. Every human being who has a conscience has the capacity to have this happen to them in a different way. I mean, because we all seek things that give us comfort, and any of us who leave home and go far away from home in different surroundings, you're 1,000% susceptible to this. And again, I was one of those people. I would have caught it, and I'm like, holy cow! The way that it all played out, no way. No matter who you are, if you've ever traveled away from home, like if you've lived in the same town for the last 100 years, yep, you're impervious to this. If you've ever left home and really taken a risk and dared to do something great far from home, you're susceptible to what happened to him, and what it cost him is immeasurable. And again, it gives me a newfound respect for him as a person because mainly I was a person, again, never impacted his life, but I told jokes around him about him at the water cooler because it seemed so impossible that anyone would fall for it. So if you like a true life drama thing, and hopefully when you really watch it, it expands your mind, because as much as the villain in this story is a villain, you know why that person is a villain. It's because a lot of us are even worse villains on the outside. So as much as I think Manti Te'o as a person was wronged by an individual, our society created this scenario.
Yeah, man. And I was actually very, very happy that well, now she was on there and was brave enough to give her side of everything as well, because without that, then you could still kind of look at Manti Te'o as like yeah, I don't know if I believe it. Just because he has cameras and everything around him now, and it's been years later. So now I'm supposed to believe that, but to have the other party that was involved to give their side as well, like that, it was a very moving documentary.
It was, because it touches on we are all humans, and I think, again, if I gave it an A for this reason, Cory. Thank you for assigning it to me. I give it an A for this. At the end of the day, if we do one thing on this podcast, let's all realize that the people who are listening and producing and putting this together are human beings, and we are all vulnerable, no matter how hard we are and damaged we are. We have the capacity to hurt each other in ways that we will never, ever know. And unfortunately, we unleash that on people, even unknowingly, and the fallout from it can be so catastrophic you could never, ever put. Like, literally, if you to your point, if you listen to her story, there's no way she can figure that the damage done will be this great. Yet, at the end of the day, she's like, shit, he wouldn't have been as good as he was if it wasn't for me.
It's very true. Very true. Well, I'm glad you liked it, man.
Solid A. Great. You're on a roll.
I'll try to keep it going here. I had a loan from Nick, and it was season 8. So season 8 was the only one available on Netflix.
Was it really?
So that's all that there was.
Isn't that what I gave you, though? Season 8?
I believe so. But you said I could start.
Yeah, I think.
You said I could start wherever.
And season 8. But I mistakenly gave Todd, I think, season 4, and I said
that's correct.
That was a fuck up, and I had watched season 8, and you made fun of me because I watched like season 1 and season 8, and you're like, "Who the fuck does that?"
Yeah, so no, I did season 8 starting at episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
As of just prior to starting the cast tonight, I was just finished episode 6.
Oh, Jesus.
I think they're what, hour episodes?
Nice.
Yeah,
that means you liked it.
Yeah, man. So it's very interesting. Obviously the title gives it away alone. It's people being taken out into the wild and being dropped off. And I can't remember. I want to say it was somewhere in the Dakotas that season 8 was based around. But either way, it's not like here where we can go into the woods and really not be too afraid of anything. There's grizzly bears and a lot of wildlife that could very easily kill you.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff like in British Columbia, in Canada, like north of Alaska or parallel with Alaska, like in very, very remote areas where you're surrounded by water, but there's like a lot of islands and forested areas and things like that. So.
Yeah, it's very crazy terrain, and like I said, again, the wildlife is even crazier. But so they start with 10 people, they drop them off, and they're allowed to bring 10 items with them. They never really get too much into what's considered an item, what's not. But either way, they're allowed these 10 things. They're dropped off, and they basically have to build a shelter
to live in. Yep, and they stay for as long as they can, right?
Yeah. So it's not like if you can make it 15 days or if you can make it 20 days. This is out of the 10 people, whoever is there the longest wins the competition. So like at first, I was under the impression like, oh yeah, they're going to say 25 days. No, like people were going into this challenge talking about we're planning on being here for 132 days. I was like, holy shit. Like, so you're like 6 months, nearly that's what you're looking at.
And Cory, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to step on your toes, but correct me if I'm wrong, dude. I felt like season 8, they started them, which I felt like was kind of a bitch move. I felt like they started them like in October or like late September. Like they weren't starting them in the middle of summer. They were like,
well, October. But wait a minute, October in some places, like in the Philippines, is the summer still. Or
no, this is northern Canada. This is not.
Oh, okay,
like,
okay,
yeah.
Never mind.
Or areas,
yeah. It was, you could tell like the first several episodes, the weather wasn't too bad for the most part. People were wearing kind of warmer clothing. If they were in the sun, you could tell that it was decently warm. But yeah, it wasn't like a hot summer day for the first, I think, like 19 days, and you could tell it was progressively getting colder and colder. And as a matter of fact, once in episode 6, one of the guys that ends up tapping and giving up, as he's sitting waiting for the boat to show up, you could see snow falling. So yeah, it was starting to get pretty damn cold outside. But the people they have on this show, like once you hear their backgrounds, like these people are made for this. This is what they've done basically their entire lives.
Yep. And they still puss out in the end.
Which I think 4 people had tapped out by the time I got to episode 6. But dude, like this one guy, like the structure he built was amazing. It was absolutely insane how he was able to build this out in the middle of the woods with basically nothing. And yeah, some of these people's survivalist skills were next to none.
Next to none. The season I watched, or the portion I watched, everyone had been vetted, like they'd done these things. And so the one thing I thought that was really odd was, because I watched one that was a hybrid. It was the people, and they got to bring another person with them, and there was a lot of siblings, but father-son combo. The thing that I thought was pretty odd, and they're like, these are all accomplished outdoors people. Like one couple, there was a couple, husband and wife, where they're like, oh, we've been living off the grid for the last 10 years. We're gonna freaking slay this. But what they did is they dropped them off in different things. I thought the concept was pretty good, but I was amazed at like how people who've lived in the bush and roughed it hard, because that's what this show is. It's roughing it hard. Some people gave up way quicker. I'm like, really? You trained your whole life, and like 2 days in, you got bushwhacked because the woods are too tough. I thought that was pretty odd, but no, I think that I'm intrigued by those shows, and I'm more intrigued by how hard it is, less like how naked you are. So I do like the Alone franchise better than Naked and Afraid.
Yeah. Oh no, it's way better than Naked and Afraid. I've seen a couple of those episodes, and this to me was way more watchable. And you actually had like people trying. Like I said, dude, the structures that they built, it blew my mind. I'm like, I wish I had half that talent to be able to go out and do something like that. and because again, I love the outdoors and I love kayaking, being on the water, all that. But like, yeah, this is a whole nother level of like, I think maybe 2 days and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm more than good now. But at the same turnaround, I will say, even though they make it seem like these people are out there completely alone, after 6 episodes, you can tell there's a producer with them. They're like, they're not completely alone.
But they do get screwed though, in that the fact that the producer is not cold and hungry. I think that piece is the thing that when you're watching it, it's like, wait a minute, this dude is like struggling because they can't find food. Like they're like, if I don't get some calories soon, I'm gonna die. And the producer's probably sitting there going, like, my oatmeal's a little cold this morning.
Work. And you can definitely tell like that is very true. Like the people there, within 32 days, a couple of them looked very diminished, and so you could tell that was very real. Like they're not feeding them behind the scenes.
No, but you could also tell. I mean, the way they were psychologically breaking down, and I think for the most part, I think there's certain shots that the production team are going to get from afar. Like, yeah, people are close by per se. I don't think they give them walkabout cameras, they give them GoPros, they give them things like that. But there are a lot of angles that you're like, okay, this angle would only come from a professional camera, where But I feel like that for the most part, the way like some of them are like breaking down and crying and like almost going into like a psychological fit, like there can't be someone there that, if they're there, it's not very often, and if they are, they're probably strictly told like, don't engage with them. Don't talk to them. Don't, we're gonna film this from 20 yards away. They may see you every now and then, but for the most part, leave them fucking alone.
Yeah, but here's my sorry to cut you off, Cory. And I know that we try to do this, but I want to inject this right now because it's the perfect timing. I think the season I watched, there was the pairs, like I said, and here's the interesting thing: it was a father-son duo, and they split them up. They dropped the father in one spot, and he had to hike like 3 days worth of hike to get to his son. But his son tapped out after the first day because if one person taps out, the team is done. The son tapped out after the first day because he got a shelter built, but there was bears walking around the shelter, and it was in Vancouver. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, not for nothing. Again, there's no way one of these shows, not any of them, where you're like, oh, and a 17-year-old child was mauled by a bear right in front of a producer, and they got it on tape. Like literally, so I'm like, the kid tapped out because like there's bears walking around his camp all night. But I'm like, that kid should have been sleeping really comfortably because he had a shelter. Bears aren't like sniffing in and doing that. And by the way, if a bear did get into his camp, they would have gone in and stunned the bear and got him. The likelihood of the bear just naturally eating dude was so low. The fact that he tapped out in a day, and his dad, and they had to go. Dad's like, "Oh, I hear a helicopter. I'm hoping it's going over me." Oh no, I'm done because I'm like, I'm hoping my son's okay. And he's like, "I couldn't take it, Dad. There's a bear walking around the camp." I'm like, and his dad's like, "I'm disappointed, but I want my son to be." So I'm like, no chance that this production company lets the kid get mauled by a bear. I'd have slept more comfortably than any dude on the planet.
Well, the thing is like, one, I never saw that season. I gave it to my mistake, like I've said a million times, and it kind of defeats the purpose of the show, even the name of the show being Alone, because every other season they're by themselves. And Cory is 100% right. There are some people that are like you and I, and Cory, and there are other people that are building literal log cabin houses that I'm like, holy fuck, you made this with an axe within like 24 hours. I'm like, what?
Oh yeah,
this is better than my house right now.
The one guy did make a very nice small log cabin for himself, and I mean, had support beams in it and everything. Like, even made a door for it without a latch, so bears couldn't get in. And I'm like, oh my god, like this guy, yeah, this guy's gonna make it. The second he got done with that shelter, he was, I'm tapping. And I'm like, what the hell, dude? Like,
because they show them like thinking about their family, or they get sick,
Well,
and they're like, I can't do this.
And he even like burned in the support beam of the roof at the very end. Like, apparently everything in his family is about him, his daughter, his son, and his wife's initials. I got it tattooed here. My wife has it tattooed. We have it inscribed on rings, blah, blah, all this and that. And he took the time to not only chisel out, but do a burned chiseling of their initials. And it was perfect. It looked like you took it to a store and they did it with a machine.
Right.
And literally the second he got that done on that entire cabin,
he left.
He was like,
I'm
calling it.
So he'd
have
fucking left the Florida Keys if he'd fucking gotten there for like 2 weeks without his family. Like,
I'm like, God damn it, dude! Like, you had everything.
There is a caveat. The guy did say that his son died prematurely, and so
it was his daughter.
What's that? His daughter.
His daughter died.
His daughter died prematurely. Yeah. So her initials were up there, and he put it up there, but he got too much into his own head, and he mind fucked himself. And as everybody says about that kind of shit, like, it's like 90% psychological.
Sure, especially if you're alone. Yeah, you're doing battle with the elements and yourself. That's why, I think maybe I watched the wrong season because it wasn't really alone. It was alone plus a person who could hold you back.
So there was one woman in the season that I watched that she's like, this is Bearsberry, and this is Elder Scrollberry, and this is the Blue Thyme, and this is when she knew everything about everything, and she misidentified one of the berries, and it turned out, and it said underneath it, she thinks she's eating Bearsberries, but it's really this is really
poisonberry.
This is really Lycan's grasp, and it causes severe abdominal pains. It causes diarrhea. And the whole thing. She's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's wrong with me. She's like, but I know this is really disgusting. She's like, but I've had diarrhea for days, and she's going on and on and on. And she finally tapped, and she's like, I literally am just dying, like, on camera. And with this guy, he was like a Paul Bunyan, fucking beard down to his belly button and strong as can be, and he obviously was a craftsman. He could build a bush fucking craftsman. He could build the fucking nicest log cabin. He had the backstory of his family, like his daughter died young and he's doing this for his daughter and everything. And it was like a couple scenes away, I forget what it was, he couldn't catch fish or whatever. There's some people that are very successful, and I feel like he wasn't. And he just said, he's like, this isn't worth it. This really brought me to my pure form of who I am, and my family is what's important. I thought this was important, and I thought the money was important. And he's like, bless you. He's like, this is
two
not,
times.
This is not what's important.
Sorry.
He's like, and I need to leave. And he wasn't in tears, and he wasn't anything. He was just like, this was great. It was a great experience.
I do like that. Like I said, I think those shows are like Naked and Afraid to me is a little bit cheesy, and it's like, come on, what it's like they pair them up, and you're like, it's like, I think the draw is like, something untoward's gonna happen. And they're like, don't step on a fucking thorn because one of you is gonna fucking get an infection, and then you're gonna be a freaking detriment.
So what are your thoughts, Cory?
It was it's a great series, man. It's definitely intriguing. Like I said, there's some to it. And to go back to the point about producers and all that. Yeah, it's not the entire thing. It's not overproduced, but there's just certain parts that after watching 6 episodes of it, you can tell, like, these people wouldn't just be saying this stuff out in the woods alone on their own.
No.
If they didn't have someone there, even if it's for just a couple hours, there was one person walking with them being like, hey, so what are your thoughts on this?
Well, and then I thought the same thing. There's it felt prompted. It felt like too many people were speaking out loud. And I feel like that if a production company didn't at least say, you need to constantly be talking. We're not going to save any footage of you where you're not narrating what you're doing, or someone's in the background saying, is there anyone at home that you're thinking about? And then they cut to, oh, my wife and my kids and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, because they're constantly talking to the camera. Constantly.
Yeah. When the woman was afraid of the wolf, I'm like, wait a minute, that wolf's not even coming at you. The wolf hasn't. You saw the wolf. The wolf hasn't seen you yet. And there was like it seemed like a 30-minute dialogue. Oh, I hope it is.
But that's what they need. People need that to produce some kind of thing that's watchable, because otherwise they just walk around. You're not going to know what the fuck's going through their head.
Well, and that's like it, because if any of the three of us were in that exact same scenario without knowing that it's going to be on national television, I could probably go a day and a half without saying 2 sentences. So yeah, for these people to be sitting out there with, cameras and be like, oh yeah, and I'm thinking about this and I'm going to do this with this. Like that's like you said, Nick, it's prompted that's coming from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And
it drives the watchability. Yeah.
Right. And at that kind of production level, you're not just going to trust these people to go out with the cameras and get that footage on their own, and then they bring it back and you rewatch and you're like, nope, we can't use any of this. At some point, there's someone there that has control over that, and it is basically paying attention to all that stuff. So, yeah, it's not totally alone, but yeah, the experience is very, very serious and very in depth.
But Cory, my thought is this: if they wanted to keep that alone mindset, they could say, listen, we're putting 50 of you out here. We're separating you by 5 miles, 10 miles, whatever it may be. We're only going to use the top 10. And the top 10, our criteria is you have to keep talking to your GoPro. You have to keep talking to your camera. There has to be watchability. Otherwise, we're not going to use your footage. And
but I think you'd find that you'd get probably like 1%. You might get 1 out of that 50. I think you'd have to put like 200 people in there to get a show's worth. Because again, people aren't wired that way. Ultimately, if you think about what do you do, what are the things that you do that are fairly complex by yourself in your home, and nobody wants to wants to see all your dumps, your pee breaks, you eating a meal. You making a meal for yourself when you're just going, I'm just slapping 4 eggs together.
But I also feel that that's after me giving you these simple rules and saying, yeah, well, you're going to be on national television and the prize is several $100,000. I feel like that's a little bit.
Yeah, but if you're not trained for it, you'll still suck. I'd be like, my butthole itches and I don't know why. I wish I had some itch cream.
Well, there's some people that there's some people that just start singing. There's some people that are just fucking. You can tell that someone told them like you have to keep talking. So there's some people that are like but there's this fucking.
And I get where you're coming from with that premise, but the same turnaround, there's a service or a company such as Netflix that's fronting the money for this show, and they're not going to want to do a second take, or we didn't get enough on that. No, they're going to make sure that money that they're investing and putting into it, it's going to be done right the first time, no matter what. And that's what, because otherwise, yeah, if you did, okay, we're only going to take 10, but we're going to put 50 people out there. Nick, you'd need 350 people, and then maybe you might get 10 out of that actually do what you want and what they say.
Oh, I wholeheartedly believe that they probably put 20, and they probably have production teams following in the distance, and I feel like everything is live and they can hear all their mics, and every now and then there's producers that say, all right, you need to stimulate this, you need to move in, you need to ask some questions.
You said stimulate.
Oh yeah,
very intimate stimulation.
Thank you. The guys at work would appreciate that, Cory.
Tall Cory's really going to appreciate it.
Oh, he loves some intimate stimulation.
Exactly. He's like 5'9" and a half.
He's so tall.
All right, so new assignments, gentlemen. I would absolutely take, if there's something that the two of you can agree on, I would absolutely take what I have, which is Dazed and Confused, and I'm sure it'd be very easy for you guys to agree on something. If you don't, I don't know, Bob doesn't necessarily like that, but I'm more than willing to watch
A double dip?
things. Yeah, and catch up. I've done it many times in the past. So if there's something you guys can,
I already know it. Who's giving it to you? Because I already know what I'm giving you.
No, I'm saying if you and Cory can agree on something to give to me,
I'll agree on whatever Todd wants to give.
okay.
I don't know,
dude. If you don't give me some fucking draft shit, you have.
It's
to,
not. No.
You have to give me something that you think I will like.
I think you'll like. I think that I'm taking a risk, but I think you'll like it because
Jesus Christ.
based. I'm telling you, I think you're going to like this.
Okay.
The League.
Isn't this what you said was about the draft?
It's not about the. It's not about the draft. It's a sitcom.
The draft,
about,
like it's Vietnam.
No, it's a sitcom about people who take fantasy football a bit too serious.
Okay.
I think
so. It's basically Nick.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I think
I don't take it too serious. I hate it.
No, it's through the eyes of you. Sorry.
Yes, exactly. It's through your eyes. I think that's why I think this is. I think this is a sideways slam dunk. I think
so.
As much as the fact that you think you're gonna not like it, I think you're gonna love it because I think it's hilarious. But I think it is the life that you're living.
And it's called what?
It's called The League.
The League.
Yep.
Okay, and obviously Todd has Cory. Cory has Todd.
All right, Todd.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen The Most Hated Man on the Internet?
No.
That's all you, buddy.
All right, and I'm gonna double dip. I think I gave this to Bob, but have you seen Belfast?
I don't believe I have.
There you go. You have Belfast.
All right, sweet. What's today's date?
23rd? Well, it's 24th for you now, isn't it?
We'll go with 23rd. You said Belfast.
Yes.
All right, so I got him. I got him locked in. Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, that was fantastic. Absolutely fucking fantastic. It was rocky from the start.
Yep.
But we absolutely made it work. So for Mr. Bob Rankin, who's up celebrating with his brethren, having homosexual sex. For
Not
Cory,
there's anything wrong with it.
Not there's anything wrong with that. For Cory Selesky, Mr. Todd Dillon, I'm Nick. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Be good to yourselves and each other.
Put the end screen up. End screen. And the wallpaper. No, not gonna put the wallpaper up. We'll go with that.
Are we done?